Here is a question that sounds simple, but becomes terrifying when you remove the modern world. What happened if an early human was bitten by a venomous snake? Today, even a dangerous bite can become a medical emergency with a plan. You call for help. You reach a hospital. Doctors monitor breathing, swelling, bleeding, pain, shock, and infection. In some cases, antivenom can change the outcome. But now imagine the same problem before ambulances, before clinics, before lab-made antivenom, before anyone understood venom as chemistry moving through the body. The popular image is usually dramatic. A person steps near a hidden snake, gets bitten, and either dies quickly or is saved by some mysterious ancient plant cure. That image feels exciting, but it is too clean. Real survival was probably messier. Not every snake was venomous. Not every venomous bite delivered the same amount of venom. Not every bite hit the same part of the body. Distance from the group, body size, health, movement after the bite, infection, swelling, fear, and the species of snake could all matter. A bite was not one event with one guaranteed ending. It was a chain of risks, and that is what makes the question interesting. Early humans did not survive snake bites because they had one magic trick. They survived when they did survive, because survival was built from layers, noticing snakes before contact, learning dangerous places, reacting quickly, staying with the group, using experience, reducing panic, and sometimes simply being lucky. In the ancient world, prevention may have been more important than treatment, because once venom was already inside the body, options became brutally limited. So this video is not about pretending prehistoric people had secret medicine that solved everything. It is also not about imagining them as helpless victims waiting to die. The real story sits between those extremes. A snakebite was a biological threat, a social test, and a lesson for everyone watching. One bite could injure one body, but it could also teach the whole group where not to step, which sounds to fear, which paths to avoid, and why survival often began before danger ever touched the skin. The mistake is thinking of a snakebite as one simple ancient question: did they have medicine or not? That frame is too modern. It assumes the main problem begins after the bite, as if survival depends only on treatment. But for early humans, the more important system probably came before the bite: avoiding the encounter, recognizing danger, moving carefully, learning from others, and staying close enough to be helped. A modern person often imagines treatment as the center of survival, because hospitals have moved the crisis into a controlled place. The bite happens, then trained people take over. In a prehistoric setting, there was no clean handoff. The same group that found food, watched children, and read the landscape also had to respond to injury. They could not separate emergency care from ordinary life. Their medical system was not a building. It was memory, attention, group support, plant knowledge, trial and error, and luck. So the better question is not, what cure did early humans use for snake venom? A better question is, how did humans reduce the odds that a snakebite became fatal in a world with almost no reliable treatment? That shift matters. It moves the focus from fantasy cure to survival layers. Avoidance mattered. Knowing where snakes hid mattered. Foot placement mattered. Children being taught not to grab or step blindly mattered. The group's reaction mattered too. This also prevents the opposite myth. The ancient humans were doomed by every venomous bite. Some bites are dry bites. Some inject less venom. Some snakes are dangerous but not equally deadly in every situation. Some victims survive even without antivenom, depending on species, venom dose, bite location, health, and time. But survival was not guaranteed, and ancient knowledge could not cancel biology. The truth is harsher and smarter. Early humans survived snake bites mostly by making bites less likely, panic less likely, and each dangerous encounter easier to remember. To place a snake bite in the ancient world, picture a body moving through a landscape without boots, paved paths, flashlights, sealed houses, or quick evacuation. Early humans were often close to the ground. They stepped through grass, brush, rocks, river edges, hollow logs, and warm sleeping places where snakes could hide. A hand reaching for food, firewood, eggs, or a child's dropped object could enter the same space as a coiled animal that wanted one thing: not to be stepped on or grabbed. Snakes were not hunting humans as prey. That matters. A bite was usually not a monster attack. It was a defensive collision between two nervous animals sharing the same environment. Humans wanted food, water, materials, and safe places to rest. Snakes wanted warmth, cover, prey, and escape routes. The danger came from overlap. Holes, sun-warmed rocks, tall grass, and dark spaces could bring people and snakes too close together. The ancient body also faced limits that modern life softens. A swollen foot could make walking difficult. A bite on the hand could make gripping, carrying, climbing, digging, or tool use harder. Pain and fear could cause panic, and panic could cause movement, and movement could make a venomous bite worse. Even a non-fatal bite could become a group problem if the injured person could not travel, gather, hunt, carry, or protect themselves. This is why context mattered as much as medicine. A lone person bitten far from camp had a different chance than someone bitten near others. A child was not in the same position as a strong adult. A bite during migration, drought, or food shortage was more dangerous than a bite when the group could stop and help. The landscape, season, group size, and distance from support all shaped the outcome. So ancient survival began before the bite. It lived in habits, watching the ground, using sticks to move brush, teaching children not to reach blindly, recognizing dangerous hiding places, and remembering where encounters happened. In a world with limited treatment, knowledge of place was not trivia. It was prevention. The evidence for ancient snakebite survival is indirect, because archaeology rarely preserves a clear moment like, this person was bitten here. A fossil bone does not usually record swelling, paralysis, fear, or the hours after venom entered tissue. So the evidence has to be stacked from different directions. Snakes, bodies, landscapes, wounds, and human behavior. The first layer is biological. Venom is not one thing. Different snakes use different mixtures of toxins, and the result can range from pain and swelling to bleeding problems, tissue damage, weakness, paralysis, breathing trouble, or death. Modern medicine shows how serious this can be. Snakebite envenoming still kills many people every year, especially where medical care is distant. That tells us something important about the past. Without antivenom, oxygen support, antibiotics, or monitoring, a severe venomous bite could be extremely dangerous. The second layer is variation. A bite was not automatically a death sentence. Some snakes were not venomous. Some venomous snakes delivered little venom, or none at all. Some bites hit a limb instead of a more vulnerable area. Some victims were strong adults. Some were close to camp, surrounded by people who could carry them, calm them, give water, watch symptoms, and stop them from moving too much. Species, bite location, and condition could change everything. The third layer is ethnographic and behavioral. People who live close to snakes learn patterns. They learn which places are risky, which seasons bring more encounters, which sounds or postures matter, and which actions are foolish. A child does not need a biology textbook to learn fear of a hidden coil under a rock. They need adults, stories, warnings, scars, and remembered accidents. In small groups, one dangerous event became public information. The fourth layer is practical logic. Many old cures people imagine, cutting the wound, sucking venom, tying a brutal tourniquet, can be useless or harmful. What likely helped most was less dramatic. Keeping the person still, reducing panic, staying together, preventing secondary injury, and letting the group adjust its movement around the wounded body. The evidence does not point to a magic prehistoric antidote. It points to prevention, attention, group care, and the hard fact that some people survived because the bite was survivable. The mechanism of survival was not one heroic cure. It was a sequence of damage control. A venomous bite begins as a local injury, but the real danger depends on what the venom does next and how the body reacts. Some venoms attack blood clotting, some damage tissue, some interfere with nerves and breathing, some cause intense swelling and pain. Ancient people did not need to understand the chemistry to recognize the pattern. A bite could change a person's body minute by minute. The first mechanism was movement control. If a bitten person panicked, ran, struggled, or kept walking hard, the crisis could become worse. More movement means more circulation, more stress, and more chance that venom spreads through the body. This is why the group mattered. Someone alone might keep moving from fear. Someone surrounded by others could be stopped, held, calmed, watched, and protected. Stillness was not a cure, but it could buy time when time was the only medicine available. The second mechanism was reducing secondary harm. A bitten foot could make a person fall. A swollen hand could make them drop tools or fail to climb. Pain could lead to bad decisions. Fear could spread through the group. The response had to keep the injured person from becoming more injured. That might mean resting, carrying them, choosing a safer camp, delaying travel, keeping children away from the snake's hiding place, and watching for worsening signs. The third mechanism was learning. Every bite was information. Where was the snake? What time of day was it? Was it near water, rocks, brush, a sleeping area, or food gathering ground? Did it rattle, hiss, coil, freeze, or strike without warning? The injured person suffered, but the group gained a sharper map of risk. That memory could protect others later. So survival worked like a filter. The best outcome was avoiding the bite completely. The next best was receiving a less severe bite. After that, the group tried to slow damage, reduce panic, protect the victim, and learn from the encounter. Prehistoric snakebite survival was not magic. It was prevention first, stillness second, support third, and luck running through everything. Imagine a warm afternoon near a patch of low rocks and dry grass. A small group has stopped because someone found edible roots near the edge of a stream. The work is ordinary. One person digs with a stick. Another sorts what is worth carrying. A child watches from a few steps away, learning which plants adults care about. Then a hand reaches beside a stone, and the stone seems to move. The snake strikes because the hand came too close. The person pulls back with a sharp cry. For a moment, everyone freezes. This pause matters. In a modern movie, people would rush, shout, cut the wound, or try some dramatic cure. But the useful response is quieter. The group pulls the injured person away from the hiding place. Someone keeps the child back. Someone looks for the snake without moving too close, because knowing what kind of animal it was may change how afraid they should be. The bitten person wants to move. Pain does that. Fear does that. But movement is now the enemy. The group tries to keep them still. They sit them down in the shade. A swollen hand or foot is watched. The limb is not treated like a broken tool to be fixed by force. It is treated like a dangerous change inside the body. People look for signs they have learned to fear: spreading swelling, weakness, strange breathing, bleeding, confusion, collapse. They may not know the word venom, but they know when a body is being taken over by something invisible. The rest of the day changes. No one simply continues as if nothing happened. A planned move may be delayed. Food is carried by others. A safer resting place may become more important than a better foraging patch. The injured person is not just a patient, they are a group problem. Their survival depends on stillness, protection, observation, and the bite itself being survivable. Later, even if the person recovers, the place is not forgotten. Children are warned. The rock, the grass, the stream edge, the hidden space under the stone become part of the group's map. One body took the bite, but everyone carries the lesson. The twist is that the best ancient snakebite survival strategy was not medicine after the bite. It was culture before the bite. A snake has venom, fangs, speed, camouflage, and the advantage of surprise. A human has poor natural armor and no built-in antidote. But humans had something snakes did not have: shared memory. One person's fear could become a warning. One child's mistake could become a rule. One dangerous place could become a story that outlived the person who first learned it. That makes snake bites different from many other injuries. A broken bone teaches one body to move carefully. A snake bite teaches the whole group to read the ground differently. After a bite, the lesson was not only, "This animal is dangerous." It was more precise. Do not reach under that kind of rock. Do not walk barefoot through that grass at dusk. Do not let children play near that hollow log. Do not sleep where warmth and cover might also attract a hidden body. So the real human advantage was not that early people had perfect cures. They probably did not. The advantage was that danger could be converted into knowledge. A snake's venom works inside one bloodstream, but human memory spreads through many minds. That does not save every victim. It does not erase the pain, swelling, fear, or death that a severe bite could bring. But over generations it changes behavior before the strike happens. The bite itself was a crisis. The memory of the bite was protection. Early humans survived snakes not by defeating venom, but by learning how to live around animals they could not control. Today, a snake bite is still frightening, but modern life gives the fear a structure. You are told to stay calm, limit movement, call emergency help, avoid cutting or sucking the wound, and reach medical care as fast as possible. There are hospitals, trained responders, breathing support, pain control, antibiotics when needed, and antivenom for many dangerous species. The bite is still serious, but the response is no longer just a small group staring at a changing body and hoping the night goes well. For early humans, the world was different. A snake bite did not happen inside a system built to rescue you. It happened in grass, rocks, river edges, forests, camps, sleeping places, and paths where the group still had to find food, protect children, and decide whether to move or stop. The body was the emergency room, the group was the ambulance, memory was the warning sign, and prevention was often the strongest medicine available. That is why the old question, how did early humans survive a snake bite, has a sharper answer than a simple cure story. Sometimes they survived because the snake was not venomous, sometimes because the bite was dry or mild, sometimes because the venom dose was low, the bite location was less dangerous, or the person was strong enough to endure it. Sometimes the group helped by keeping them still, protecting them, and adjusting the day around their injury, and sometimes they did not survive at all. But the larger survival story was not only about the bitten person, it was about what the group learned afterward. A dangerous patch of grass became remembered, a hidden rock became avoided, a child was warned more sharply, a story was told with more urgency. Over time, human survival came not from being tougher than venom, but from becoming better at noticing where venom lived. Modern medicine fights the bite after it happens. Ancient knowledge tried to keep the bite from happening at all, and that may be the most human part of the story. Your ancestors did not survive because nature was gentle, or because they had secret magic. They survived because fear became attention. Attention became memory, and memory became culture. A snake could strike one body in a second, but a remembered danger could protect a group for years.